I think, okay. All right, that's weird. That's a weird technical problem I haven't seen. So Claire, I'm sorry about that. Just rejoin and we will get you back in the mix. But we are back. It is the first community call of the new year. There are literally 1 million people on this call. So I have to say thank you to everyone for coming out. First community call of the year, community call number 59. This guy is a special guy to me. One of my first friends in the Amazon game. Some of you know him as Thomas. Some of you know him as Tony. I like to call him Tony, but if you're cool, you can call him Tom Cruise. But back when I was getting started, he was so gracious and he wanted to really help me. And he did something. I'll tell you this quick story about Tony. He wanted to talk to me so bad, which I found odd because I was a nobody making no money. And this guy was making massive 6 figures a month. And he spent 2 hours talking to me. He knew I sourced a lot of Gap. So he gave me probably 200 high velocity ASINs. You know, maybe 6 months later, those ASINs that I was able to get from him ended up amounting to like $32,000 in revenue. And that was out of $100,000. So 32% of what I had done in revenue was completely attributable to this guy. And that's just the kind of guy he is. Super busy, but if you reach out to him, he will get back to you and he will help you. You just have not met a more genuine person than Tony. Just really fantastic. I joke about it, but it is true. He does not like to work. And that's why this call makes so much sense. He wants to do as little work as possible and make as much money as possible. And that's why you're here today. He is going to help you understand more about admin, his process, the way he makes his business efficient, and how you can do the same. Tony, I just want you to say hello, and I want to thank you for helping host this call tonight and being here again.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. Again, my name's Tony. Happy New Year, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for coming out. I'm kind of scatterbrained, so I'm going to be talking like 1,000,000 miles an hour, and I got like so many attachments and things to show you. So let me share my screen, because we're going to talk about admin today. So I included...
it's okay that you go 1,000,000 miles an hour, because we are recording, and they can watch it back again.
Okay, wonderful. You guys can see my screen, right? And so what I did in the chat is I shared Google Sheets. And so this should be viewable to everyone without having to input or get like access. And I also included the Google Drive, which has all my like presentation handouts and stuff. So I'm going to just cycle through all this stuff. For about me, in case no one first time meeting me, I'm a full-time Amazon seller. I do 100% OA, FBA, and Prep Center. I've been selling since 2014. I should be closing in on 8 million lifetime sales. Fun facts: I used to work for Guns N' Roses for a time. When Omar was saying I was a cool guy, I was like, okay, I'll do cool guy stuff. Here's cool guy stuff. Interests, I like credit card points. That's why I'm always flirting with the Falcon, because I'm trying to figure out all the cool perks. I'm big on admin systems and theory, so that's what we're going to talk about today, because it's a boring subject matter, but I always like to joke, like what makes it interesting is that it's your money. And so like we got to do it. And that's what keeps it enticing. And so I'm big on automation and all that good stuff. And I know like 5 or 6 programming languages, or at least I'm familiar with it. And so the first thing I want to do is go over this stuff with you guys. Usually I don't like doing quotes, but I'm going to do quotes because I feel like they're appropriate in this instance. So there's a guy named James Clear, and he has a quote that says, "You do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems." And I thought it was good because we're going to talk about systems. And so the other half of that is, I made this up. I said, purchasing is where you earn your profit, admin is where you keep it. And so I thought that was kind of clever, and we're going to kind of touch base on all that stuff. And so I shared this sheet with you, and this is kind of the sharing sheet that I sent out to everyone. I have my own personal sheet that's like a bit more cluttered with more training locations and stuff like that. This one's kind of stripped down just to give you an idea of what to do for your overview and your business. For me, the way I set it up was I basically had ChatGPT write an equation, and everything is time-based. So I'll say, hey, I want to do this every 7 days. And so I'll just update the date over here. And it's like a timer. It basically says minus from today's date, minus the last time you did it. If it's less than 7, then highlight it green. If it's been too long, like longer than 7 days in this case, it's going to be red. And so the whole point of this is I want to put my brain on autopilot, just glance at this. What do I need to do? Do it, and then go to the next task and do something else. And so you'll notice a lot of these things on here. What the core thing of admin comes down to is you have 3 goals. Account health is the main one, because you don't want your account to get banned, because if you can't sell, then you have no income and everything else goes smush, and we don't want to be smushed. So like stranded inventory, feedback, inauthentic complaints, all these things don't take that long to upkeep, but they're important to do because like it keeps us in the game, so to speak. The other component is inventory turnover. We want to make sure that we're staying on top of our good inventory, restocking it so that our money's compounding. We can also stay on top of the stuff that's doing really well by raising the price and squeezing out more profit. For bad inventory, I catch it 2 different ways. On the repricing, I do it once a week, because what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to see if I'm still like competitive with the market. And so I have a thing with the 30, 90, 30, 60, 90 day. This is the way the inventory ages on the reports. And so what ends up happening is if you're touching your inventory once a week, I think it's, you end up touching your inventory 12 times before it hits this last bracket of 90 days. Because for me, I want to have all my inventory cut off by like day 90. Because at that point, I'm kind of like, you had your chance to perform and you didn't, and it's time to go. And so touching it every week gives us that touch point to make sure everything's in alignment and like to stay on top of things. The other thing we want to do is capital recovery. And this just has to do with like keeping all of our capital in play. We have a thing called leakage in our business, which is like irritating. And I have a handout on this that I need to go into. And then we have lost stuff. So it's a matter of keeping the stuff that we have on hand, like working and going to work for us. And then whatever's like not working in terms of like inventory loss and stuff. Let me bring that up. I'll show you what I'm looking at up here. Leakage. So I have this write-up. It's included in the Google Drive link if you want. But just to give you an idea of context of like how much leakage we're dealing with, we have order leakage where you can order 10 of something, you only get 9. 2 can be damaged. You can get the wrong item. You have fulfillment center issues. You have things after the sale where like returns don't come back in. Customers like screw around and send you the wrong thing. You have gift card issues where partial balances, like mis-entered balances and all that stuff. And so like we need to stay on top of all of this stuff, because the way I like to think of it is if you have a $10,000 bankroll, what ends up happening is if for whatever reason, for sake of conversation, 3,000 of it is just locked up in all this mess entanglement, you're functionally like operating with one hand behind your back and you're only using 70% of your bankroll's potential. And so that's kind of one of the impetuses of doing all of this. And so I gotta be careful. I'm gonna show you guys some stuff later on, but like this is all just context and admin. So for me, the reason we have all this system, I'm just showing you my speaker notes. For me, I see this as a way to standardize and get the same output every time. I like to think of it as like the whole McDonald's, Starbucks model, in that like you can go anywhere and produce the same outcome. That's like the North Star of what we're trying to do. And so like the thing I always try and reference is the pilot pre-flight checklist. Like you're making sure everything gets touched that needs to get touched and nothing gets like forgotten about, basically. And so this is in here. Let me go ahead and put this in the chat. And so just for context, so you guys can see like what one of my training documents looks like, I have someone working in the business and I have a VA, kind of like a partner. And so I learned this from Layla Hermosi, or at least the concept was exposed to me from her. And the thing is that you want to assign responsibility to someone. And so in my case, I'm saying like, hey, Brian, like this is your job. And so in school, I was a big component, or I was a big pain in the butt, I should say, of like, why are we learning this? What am I going to do it for? And so like, I always want to know what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. And so for this, I say like, hey, this is the frequency, the estimated time. I go over the context. And so you know why you're doing something. And then I go over how you're doing it. And so I kind of split my training up into 2 different parts. I basically say like, this is why you're doing it. And then this is what it looks like to do it. Because the other component of it is showing what good looks like is like the thing you're trying to achieve. And so just for context, we'll run into this in a little bit of why I did that one in specific is I want to talk about how like everything ended up on this sheet. And I thought this little Arthur comic meme was funny because everything on here is the result of a failure. Because what ended up happening is like an undesired outcome. It put it on my radar and it got onto the sheet, so I didn't do it again. And so I guess that's what life's all about, right? What does it say? Like, fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, or whatever. Like, that was me. And so just for like story and context, just quick going over stuff. Inauthentic complaints, I got 3 of them for Nike and I didn't respond promptly. And I thought like they were cool about it, but what ended up happening is they all got restricted on the individual ASIN basis, which is fine. I've had that happen before, but I guess that third one made them really mad, and they brand gated all of Nike. And so that happened like October, and like that just was like 70% of my catalog, and it just created all kinds of havoc. So guess what? I respond to those things way faster now. It's right here. I check at least once a week. I have email forwards that'll send it to my phone as a text message, because like I want that fast of a turnaround, because I don't want to go smush. I've lived that life before and I don't want to do it again. Storage restock limits, same thing. So during Q4, a few Q4s ago, their storage limits, say they only give you like 100 square feet of space, whatever the number is. I went over it, and the next shipment, they wouldn't receive it. And this is during Q4, and that creates all kinds of logistical issues. Capital's tied up, things aren't turning over the way they're supposed to. A good friend of mine named Ed had that same issue, and he had to recall. Kind of like if you think of your inventory like A, B, C tier, he recalled like the dumb inventory. And that, that incurred costs and all of that headache that's involved, so he could send in like more inventory. And so now I check that, I think once a month. And so on this sheet, I have an example. Like I've never run into it again because now I'm staying on top of it. You can also request more storage, like going into it. But the other component is, if you're staying on top of your inventory, you kind of have like an aggression level. You know that like, oh boy, like I'm almost at 100%. Let me get aggressive on this and start selling through stuff to make up space. And so it's just to try and give you a heads up on things to do, so like the bad stuff doesn't come to pass. Gift card balances. Backstory, I got an SBA loan, and I skipped one. But since we're talking about this, I got an SBA loan for like $267,000 for 30 years for 3.5% APR. It was a COVID loan. It's technically called an EIDL loan. And so I thought I was hot stuff. I thought money go left and right, just flying everywhere. I was like, I got so much money, and I got sloppy, and I didn't stay on top of my gift card balances, and I only have myself to blame, and that's okay. But what ended up happening is I had like over 10 grand in just mismanaged gift card fees, refunds, bad entries and stuff. And it's so embarrassing when like I actually did it. And I'm going to show you how I do it now, like the gift card balance checks. But like that was that failure. The shipment reconciles, every time you send stuff to Amazon, say you send them 10 units, sometimes they get 7 or they get 0. And in my case, they got 0 on a $3,000 shipment of cost. And I got that reimbursed because I was staying on top of it. Had I not known that, I would have lost $3,000. And that's no fun. That's your money. Paperwork from the prep center, since I use all prep center, I don't get the physical paperwork. I ask for it every quarter because the inauthentic complaints usually want you to cover 365 days. And I want to make sure I have all my ducks in a row, blah, blah, blah. I've never had to use it, but like, oh man, if they want to fight, like I'm ready to go. I'm like, my name's Tony. I'm your dance partner. Like I have the paperwork. Let's do this. Aged inventory, same thing. Like you just want to stay on top of your inventory with that 30, 60, 90 day. There's a report in here that tells you it. Useful links, age inventory report. So you're going to want to look at that, and it's going to classify your ASIN, like basically like you've had this in stock for over 60 days. And so for me, like I want that stuff out. Like I want all like the A, B tier inventory. I don't want any C, D, E, F inventory. Gift cards we talked about. Delete old ASINs. If you didn't know this, if it's still in your catalog, you're still responsible for compliance issues. And so I had old toys that they wanted like lab reports and tests and stuff on that I hadn't sold in 3, 4, 5 years. And I left it on my account because my account's like 10 years old and I thought it looked cool. And it just created all kinds of like admin headache. And so now I periodically go in and prune my inventory of stuff that I haven't sold for more than 3 months. And I delete it on my catalog entirely because I don't want that headache. And so like, that's how a lot of this stuff got on there. Bunch of weenies. Let's see. How you guys on questions? Are you good? How's pacing? Let me check questions. EIDL loan.
I haven't seen any yet, but if anybody has any, feel free to raise your hand.
Yeah, for sure. I'm always like, whenever I present, I always want you guys to take something valuable away from this. So like, that's why I'm covering so much ground. I'd rather overwhelm you with information than give you too little. So for me, I think of this whole concept as managing 3 currencies: money, time, and energy. And a lot of this stuff sucks my energy. So I'm always trying to eliminate it, delegate it, or automate it. And so if you have VAs, like that's awesome, because your North Star, what I like to say is like, just because a task needs to be done doesn't mean you have to be the one to do it. And so I have the other saying that says, create the system, install the person. And so I think the ultimate end game of your business is to create all the systems, install the people, and like basically remove yourself. And like, what does it say? Like, you don't want to have a job. Like, you want to work on the business, not in the business. And so you're kind of like trying to fire yourself from your business. No, fire is the wrong word. But I think you get the idea. Like, you're trying to get rid of your own job, so to speak. Let me show you this, because if you guys don't have this set up, I'm hoping that you guys have SellerAmp, but I wanted to show you just this quick overview. What ends up happening is, this is one of the main reasons why I like SellerAmp, is just for the organization aspect of it. If you're not already using it, I want to show you in case you've never seen this before. What ends up happening is you can export all of this data, like your cost, $40, and like whatever your listing price is. You'd click to this button and it'll export to this sheet that I have open. This is going to require some setup, and I have a Loom video showing how it's done. This thing has a little twirly thing. There we go. And so now it's here. And so the big benefit of having this set up, if you don't have any level of organization in your business right now, it'll keep you kind of, I shouldn't say keep you honest. It'll keep you on track of things, because when I was doing intake myself physically, this is kind of like the way I would go about it. I would say I ordered, say, 14 of these, and on the day I ordered, I put 014. And so like, that was my visual cue of like, hey, like I've ordered these and I haven't seen them come in. And when I get them, like I'll check them in like that. It's super ghetto, but it's just a starting point. Like, customize it to whatever works for you or makes sense. If I have a shortage, like I'll highlight it red and be like, oh, let's go poke the vendor, resolve the issue, whatever it happens to be. Let me see if I have that. I have a Loom video on this. If you guys need to get that set up, I'll put that in here. But that was just like a quick one.
Yeah, so
and so
everybody
now I'm
has
going to show
access
you
to everything that Tony is dropping in the notes. So I've added everybody to the notes. If you haven't added your email, just drop it in the chat.
Hopefully this is good, because I'm kind of like on the fence. Like, I want to show you guys some stuff, but a lot of this stuff's kind of straightforward. It doesn't take too long.
Give it to us all, Tony. Give it to us
my
all.
man. Let's do it. So I'm going to show you the Kohl's, how I do balance checking for Kohl's. And so these are all, or were, live gift cards. So shame on you if you're thinking about trying them. They're all 0. But anyhow, there's a service called 2Captcha. And so what ends up happening is, I'm gonna use this. I have 2 Chrome add-ons. One of the ones I'm going to use right now is called Open Multiple URLs. And so I'm going to open up 5, and I'll explain why right now. What ends up happening is, when you balance check your Kohl's cards, around after the 10th one, you start getting CAPTCHA codes where you have to solve, like click the little squares and grids. And that's a big pain in the butt, and I hate it. It slows down the process. And so there's a service called 2Captcha. Let's see if I have it right here. And I feel bad because I found out how they work, how they do this. What ends up happening is, I think I paid like $5 or $10, and they charge you $1 for every 1,000 captures they do, or a successful like captures they do. It's something like that. It's dirt cheap. But what ends up happening, I feel bad, like a human somewhere in the world is actually like solving the CAPTCHA, and they submit it, they get like a key, and then we get the key, and then we submit it to Kohl's, and then we don't have to click those dumb pictures anymore. And so the reason I like pre-queued this is like they're still solving it. And this should have already been solved by now, because this is going to mess up my demonstration. And so like all of this is just to not have to click, I'm not a robot. Okay, CAPTCHA solved. Sometimes they take a couple seconds, but this is why I wanted to show you. And I use a lot of hotkeys if you see me like jumping around a lot. Let me show you. Okay, cool. So like when I balance check gift cards, this is what I'm doing. Mr. Omar, I see you.
Yeah, I was just putting a placeholder up for a question. So finish this up and I'll ask you when you're done.
So the main point of this is just to eliminate the pain point of the CAPTCHAs, because that'll trip up the process and probably take it like 5 times as long. And so like, this isn't glamorous by any means, but like, this is what it looks like when you start going. Like, you're just copy pasting, you check balance. Okay, next one. And you're just doing that. It's kind of boring. But like, that's how I balance check stuff without having to do it. And then since I have 5 tabs, now the first one that I worked on is solving in the background. Well, I'm on tab 4, and you're just cycling through it. Yeah, that's kind of this process. It's boring. But just to show you like, hey, like you can use automation. I think there was a question, right?
Yes, there was a question. So what do you do if you have missing units or order never arrived from the supplier and you can't prove to the supplier for reimbursement
Oh,
because it's at the prep center?
oh man, that happens sometimes too. Oh yeah, this is being recorded. Sometimes I wonder if shenanigans is happening at the prep center for reals or it's legitimate shortages. When I was intaking inventory myself, I noticed that there were shortages too. And so I imagine it happens at the prep center too. But the issue becomes when it becomes too big of a scale. I know a seller named Tona that happened with Nike.com. It got to the point where they were just like, I don't believe you. And he stopped reimbursing them on any missing unit requests. And so for me personally, and this is going to come down to your personal preference, if it's just 1 or 2 units, I'll eat it. Because the way I think of it is, if they're the source of all the products and stuff, I don't want to give them any reason to look at me and like deny me inventory flow. And so that's the trade-off or the logic I'm doing in my mind. But on some stuff, it's like the principle, like I'll die on this hill. I chose this spot and everything. And so in that case, like you fight them. I think Steven does business. He does all of his Kohl's purchases on American Express last I checked, because I think one time they took his Kohl's cash and did him dirty, like in the thousands of dollars. And he said, oh yeah. And he did a chargeback of like an equal amount. And I think American Express sided with him. And so like, once you're doing that though, you're kind of, you're poking the bear, so to speak. Like you might shut off your inventory flow. So if that answers the question. I'm trying to look at the question over here without it being, what's it called? Like all spammy.
Yeah, no, I think we're
Tony?
good.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, sorry.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
What's up,
my
Tony?
man?
What's up,
My
man?
man. Good to see you.
Yeah, dude, I invited so many people like from DMs and stuff. Like I've been getting a lot of DMs from like just social media and stuff. So I was like, dude, if you aren't in Tony's call right now, you are missing out, man. Okay, so I had to hype you up a little bit. But all right, so my question is,
Appreciate you, man.
yeah, my question is, you currently have one VA, right?
Yes.
Is it sourcing or admin? Or both?
I feel bad. I hope he's not watching this call. He started out as a sourcing VA because I do the web scraping and I produce so many leads that I need him to qualify like which ones have velocity. But I've recently been able to learn how to qualify leads without the need of any human looking at it. And so he's kind of in the in-between right now.
Oh, okay. You're about to X amount soon, hopefully.
No, I have to repurpose him. I have too much honor.
Okay. So I guess my question is, currently my main focus is admin, right? Like,
Yeah.
Obviously this is the whole reason of the call, but more specifically, I just upgraded my VA to full-time, even though realistically speaking, I don't really have the volume yet per se to be able to get full-time. But the thing, I mean, I do, but let's just say like with part-time, because I already have enough leads right now as her part-time that like I don't need to upgrade full-time. But the thing is, she went above and beyond in December. So then I was like, you know what, like not only are you getting a Christmas bonus, but you're also getting, you're going full-time. Now my biggest thing is like I don't want her just to kind of like be twiddling her thumbs, like because she's normal sourcing and then also admin stuff. So I've asked this to Miles, I've asked this to Romer and everything. But I guess when it comes to like admin stuff, what are things that you personally used to delegate or you would delegate if you were like in my shoes?
Man, like what I was like, the story I like to tell, or one of the ones that I learned was that like there was a Wall Street trader that like made $1,000 an hour, and they said they would hire like a barber for like $100, and people were like, "You're stupid. Why is a barber $100?" And he's like, "Because I can still make the $1,000 an hour while I'm like losing the $100 in service and still be ahead $900, because otherwise you turn off all your income." And so like the point of that story is you want them to take all the tasks that you don't want to do. Like you're trading up your time in like the highest ROI stuff. And so for me, like it's not necessarily a bad thing that they're idle, because like I know in real life, like I might be a bad candidate because I don't try and fill that full 8-hour day at 100% productivity. And so for me, like, I mean, that's okay. Like as long as they hit their quotas, like do whatever you want. Like if money's going around, like everyone's getting fed. Is how I see it.
No, 100%. It's not really like a because I don't even like micromanage, because I'm really against. I personally hate being micromanaged myself, so I don't micromanage.
Yeah.
So like it's not really to like force her like fill up her schedule. It's more just like what to give her. Like I don't know what else to give her, so that way she just Yeah, so it's not really because for me, like I said, she's awesome. Like I literally, since day one, I haven't been micromanaging her. I just go and I just know she's kicking ass. And one of the things that really helped my business grow, especially during Q4, was I gave her a percentage. So everything,
Nice.
yeah, any profit, like just after expenses, everything, just pure profit, she gets 3% of. And dude, she worked extra hard during Q4 because obviously, if you're making 3%, you're coming out, you're gonna grind hard. So during Q4, I'm telling you, dude, like she works 7 days a week for like 3 weeks straight, and like constantly sourcing. Like the second I told her, I was like, hey, Sephora's on sale. She goes, yes, sir, I'm on it, sir. Like just so one of the biggest things, like for anybody else who either has a VA or is getting a VA, or whatever, you definitely want to treat them right, and giving them a percentage, like like even as something as small as 3%, it lets them feel like they're a part of the business, because they're part of your business, and you want them to want to perform. So and yeah, so that was my question regarding the admin stuff. It was not really just give her more stuff, not really to like force her to like use up all hour, but more just like what else can I give her, because I know she's a beast. So like what else can I like offload that I know she would be happy to take care of.
All of this stuff is prime candidate on the sheet, like if you're not already doing it. But like a lot of this stuff too, like if I'm being honest, like it doesn't take up the whole day. Like a lot of these things just take like a couple of minutes. And then you're not doing them every day either. You're doing them like once, twice a week.
And
but
how about, oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Sorry, just so many questions. I'm learning here. But and how about when it comes to like suppressed listings? Do you handle them yourself, or do you like task your VA for it?
I have my VA do it. Like I can do it, but I don't want to do it. Okay. You're talking about like if like the price is too high and it goes smush, right?
No, like full suppressed listing, like the listing becomes suppressed.
Oh yeah. I have them do it.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah, because I was talking to Miles and he said that's what I should be doing. Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
we learning.
No, you're good, man. Anything you don't want to do, you should want to unload it, because I call it like, those are energy draining tasks for me. Like I only have so much energy, and like I always go to zero like so fast. I might have ADHD, and so like I'm trying to give everything away. I don't want to do nothing, man. All right, I gotta check the questions again. Are you good, my man?
Yeah, you're good to go. Keep going.
Okay. Yeah, if you notice, my seller name's not there. I see you guys being sneaky, trying to see it. I have a little add-on for that. But anyhow.
Wait, and what is that app again? Because we were going over this before.
Yeah, how do you do that?
It's called uBlock Origin Lite. And so what ends up happening is you click it and you say like create a custom filter, and you can say like, I'm trying doing it on a bad site. Let me do it on Amazon. And you basically like highlight what you don't want it to like ever see again. You got to talk smack when you do it though, because otherwise it doesn't work. You'd be like, I hate this logo. And you say create, and then you'll never see it again.
Interesting.
All right.
And so
sauce. I'm doing that
and
now.
so you can hide it and you'd be anonymous. The reason I did this is because we're going to show you about FBA shipments. So I'm going to go that. So, this is going to require story time too. I'm losing my train of thought. Shipments, okay. Story time. Because lost inventory math is real. And I had to go over this because I already forgot it. So I try to do a simple example right here. Say you have $5,000 of cost, you make 25%. This is assuming like everything's like magical, 100% sell-through rate, 0% returns. You make $1,250 on that. The point I'm trying to illustrate here is that if you lose 10% of your inventory over this cost right here, that's $500. But in doing so, you also lose the profit potential on that $500 as well. And so what ends up happening is now you're 5,000, you only have 4,500 to make 25% on, which makes you 1,125. And then you have to minus off everything you lost and the lost potential. And so what ends up happening is your profit drops from 1,250 to 500. And I think I asked like ChatGPT to frame it. It said a 10% inventory loss translates to your profits decreasing by 60%. And I didn't realize how lopsided that was. I thought I could just outrun it, and outrunning it is not the answer. You could do it, but what ended up happening in this case, I think the ROI ends up being the difference between this value, I think 1,250, and this profit is 750 is like the missing difference. I'm not sure why it's 750 because this is, it's because you're not making like, yeah, whatever. But what ends up happening is you need to spend another 3,000 at 25% to recapture the 750 just to put you back at your original 5,000 in costs. And so what ends up happening is like, it's just so much more efficient to do the admin to recapture the cost. assuming like you can get it reimbursed or it's lost, like an inventory shortage, like 8 of 10, you can get the 2 missing pieces. And so that's kind of the impetus, or that was the aha moment for me. I was like, oh crap, like I'm probably bleeding all over and I don't even know. And so one of the things that I do, since I do everything FBA, everything's FBA shipments. Oh, that's why I was showing this page first. I said, look at that, FBM 00, no work. I'm so comfy. But what ends up happening here is everything I send to Amazon has the possibility of not getting 100% check-in. And so what we have to do is we have to keep them honest and we have to check these dang things. And so what I end up doing is I created a script that'll just rip all these and I can just open them and like cycle through them. I'll show you an example. And you guys are welcome to the script too, but this is just like what my workflow looks like. So I'll open all of these and then I'll like look at them. I'm not going to show you these actual things because that's live data, and I didn't go that far for hiding stuff, but I did take pictures to show you what we're looking for. And so functionally what we're looking for is like this. It's saying your shipment's received in full. That means you don't have to do anything. And so for the great majority of the time, that's going to be what you're going to see. But what you are looking for is anything like this. You're seeing a red number over here saying there's a shortage of 1, or you'll see a problem here or something with yellow. And so those are the ones you're going to want to open case tickets on and like poke them and be like, hey, where's my money? If you go there too early, it's going to say like, get out of here, kid. Like, don't talk to us until this day. Santiago, what's up, my man?
I actually love this. Is that included in the Google Sheets you sent? Like this,
Yeah.
slideshow? Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
the script's in there too.
That's awesome. Yeah, because I want to give this to my VA because this is something she could do. Like this is a perfect example of admin work that she could be doing that I don't want to be doing.
Oh, absolutely. It's not too
yeah.
bad. I think you get 9 months to check it before like they close you out. There's a time cutoff. I forget what it is. But basically what ends up happening is I always check the last 2 months and I check, like I wait a month and I do the next 2 because it's like rolling basis, right? And so then I'm always checking stuff. There's larger problems where like, well, not larger problems. There are big problem ones. I have a big one, basically like the shipment weight's wrong. But like I'm touching this every so often that like I'm seeing it and I can address it right away so my metrics don't get messed up. But the reason I included this one specifically is because there was an overage. And in the past, I would accept these overages and be like, sweet, free inventory. But now I don't accept them. I say like, hey, like I don't know where that came from. It's not mine. Like don't give it to me. And the reason for that is because if an account health issue comes up, like an inauthentic complaint ever comes up and they ask for the documentation, I can't add up to that extra number. And that's going to cause me problems that aren't worth yeah, it's just not worth whatever profit I might have gotten from that extra sale on the unit. So something to be aware of. That's going to come down to personal preference. So what ends up happening is, as an aside, yeah, I have all this stuff in here. Okay. So the button you saw me click down here, and I kind of wanted to do a demo because like the hope was that I was trying to put myself in your guys' seat and thinking like, hey, Tony, like what made you think you could automate this stuff? Blah, blah, blah. And so what I was doing in the past is I'd open this one at a time and like that just took forever. And I was like, I hate this. And so ChatGPT came out like a few years ago, as I'm sure you guys are aware. And I finally had the courage to like take the plunge and try it. And I just wanted to show you guys what it looks like to kind of erase the fear factor if you've never used it. And so what ends up happening is I have this ChatGPT, the actual conversation for this script. What ends up happening is because we're going to use what's called JavaScript. And I have an extension called Tamper Monkey that basically runs JavaScript. And this is what it looks like. And so I don't know how to code. Like I don't know how to write that. But I know how to tell ChatGPT, hey, I want you to open all of these links and give it to me as an output in a text file. And so this is literally what it is. I'm saying like, hey, please help me write a script in JavaScript that gets out all of these things. And so one of the things I did since, oh God, I'm going to show my age. If you guys remember MySpace, I thought I was a cool indie hacker kid and learned HTML a little bit, probably to the equivalent of like 1 month's worth of like formal knowledge. And so I can look at HTML. And so what that ended up happening is, or what that allowed me to do is I could inspect this. And this is just knowledge of like how stuff is laid out. what that let me do is I can say inspect, and it'll tell me exactly where in the HTML code like that stuff is. And so the reason that's important is I'll right click copy this element and I'll paste it right here. Because what I'm telling ChatGPT literally is, hey, when you go through the page, this is literally the exact data that you're going to interact with. This is where it's located. This is how I want you to get it out. And so I'm kind of dumb, and I'll be like, hey, like this is where the shipment ID is. This is how I want you to format the output. Create this link. Do this for everything you find. And so it's like, all right, cool. I got you, bro. And it gives you this thing. And so what that looks like, and I know this is like a really brief explanation, not enough for like everyone to intake it, but like what this looks like is I do create a new script, I paste it, I save it, I refresh it. Now I have 2 of these things, and I said download shipment IDs, and there it goes. And so it's just like you're just poking it at whatever response or output you want. You'd be like, I like that, I don't like that. Let's add this, let's remove that. And you're just doing a bunch of back and forth. And that's what kind of like started sending me down the path of automation. Question?
Yeah, but I guess my question would be like, this is cool, but like, what's the purpose? Like, what's the end goal of doing that?
It's supposed to save you like 3 clicks per link. It's not that high of an impact thing to automate. It's just like, oh, cool, this is a neat little thing I could do. Because there's another extension that I don't have, but you could basically draw like a box around it, and it would open everything in that box. And it would do the same thing, open the 5 links, and you could go through them.
Okay.
The other point was I like having this here so I can write like, oh, like I need to look at this one instead of having to populate it. And then like phase 2 would be going through all of these like headaches and stuff.
Santiago,
And I'd write my notes and whatnot.
frame every question you have for Tony as anything he's doing is because he wants to do less work, even if it's a click.
Oh yeah, I hate working. I'm 39 now. I don't want to work anymore. When do I get to retire? The last one I have for you is inventory replenishment. There's email forwarding and stuff too. But like, I'm just going to take you further down the rabbit hole because what ends up happening is like I want to just expose you guys to automation because I've done a similar presentation and I themed it. I think I didn't know you could do that. And so this is the 3 things that are like, I didn't know you could do that. I didn't know either. I just tinkering, just stared at the screen really long and be like, can I do that? And so what I have here is we're gonna make this. I should show you the raw data first. This is kind of unfortunate because if you don't have Inventory Lab, what this is it's called an ASAN profitability report. And so what's useful for it is that it gives you all of the after return data, meaning like it factors in your returns and gives you the profit. But the reason I'm using this is for 2 purposes. 1, to restock, and 2, to see the return rates. And so what I was doing in the past is I would like always have to do like divide this column by that column, highlight this, blah, 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 and do this a bunch of times. And I would always forget the step sequence. And so what I ended up doing was I'll just write a Python script to like write it for me and highlight things and make it pretty. And so I can literally see like, oh, like that has an 11% refund rate. Maybe I shouldn't restock that. The other thing is, this is like a super ghetto equation, but the thinking is if I sold 26 and I have 0 on hand, hopefully if I can get another 26, I'll sell another 26. And so that's what it's telling me right here. In a perfect world, it would forecast better, but like this is just really ghetto. Like at a minimum, you want to replace everything you sold at a 1-to-1 ratio is what I was trying to achieve. This is all old data. There's softwares that'll do this for you, but like if you want to go like super low cost and like not do any of that, you can like bootstrap it, so to speak. So let me show you this first, because we're going to use a little ChatGPT prompt. So if you notice, all of my prompts start with please, and I showed this to Falcon Brian. I say, hey Google, please play us some music. Why are you being so polite? Just in case. And it's a robot saying, keep that one alive. He always said please. And so that's why I'm nice to the ChatGPT. But to show you like how this works, what I ended up doing was you have to like create the output that you want one time. And I had to literally write like step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. And not to bore you, but like this is what the prompt was. Like apply currency to the revenue column, blah, blah, blah. And so I tell it, I want you to do all these things for me. And it says, okay, cool. Here's your Python code. Let me see. Let me give you the script. Because like typing this in real time would take like forever. So I'm just showing you like the final output. I had some back and forth because like things went wrong or I made some changes, but the final result was this script. So this is all Python and it just repeats all the tasks. And so that's what AI is really good for. It's turning your natural language, how you and I converse, into programming language. And the great leap forward was the fact that we don't have to learn programming and we don't have to hire anyone. And so in terms of leverage, we can do so much automation and we can do stuff like this. And so let me show you what it looks like in real time. I hope this is exciting because it's exciting for me.
It's crazy to me that you use ChatGPT so much, but you don't have like the paid version.
Oh, I switched over to Claude, which is a different ChatGPT.
Ah, okay, okay.
Yeah. ChatGPT is probably the easiest one because it's like mainstream. Let me get the raw data. Just like to converse. So what it ends up doing is it auto detects like a CSV file with ASA and profitability in the name. So I'm going to do the split screen so you can see it. So I'm going to just do right click, run, and it's going to output a file right here in real time. Boom, it's done. So like now I don't have to do all this highlighting. I don't have to rearrange the columns, do nothing. And then it's just like, okay, can I replenish this, do all my due diligence and whatnot? And so like it's a time saver in that sense. So these are just like little quality of life things you can do. There's not necessarily a big quality impact. I can show you a big impact if you want. Let's see. There's something in here because I was supposed to give you context. The programming language we use was what's called Python. That's free. You download it into your computer. Think of it like you need Excel to run Excel formulas. And so that's what this is. This is PyCharm. This is where you run Python. And that's free as well. ChatGPT is technically free as well. And so like you can do this all for free. So it's great. It just looks scary. Like once you get past the scariness, like it's not too bad. Let's see. I think that's kind of it. If you want to see flashy stuff, I can show you flashy stuff. Want the flashies?
We'll take whatever you got, Tony. You still got time. And obviously, if anybody has questions, feel free to pop them in. There was something you were talking about earlier that you could take us down a rabbit hole for, and I didn't write it down. I forget what it was. You remember what that was?
Oh, God, I don't remember. I'm showing you the web scraping live. Michael,
Tony,
let's hear it.
Tony, show them the credit card cash flow.
Oh, what's that? I don't even know if I've heard
That's
of that.
valuable for everybody.
I'm trying to think of that one because there's a few that I had.
Well, just rotating your credit cards like every week or whatever.
Oh, I think I have that handout in here. Okay, cool. Going through folders. I have too many folders. Oh, they're gonna make me look for it. Omar admin. Okay, cool. So I think no, was it the 55 days no interest? Is that kind of what you're talking about? No.
Yeah. That's it.
Okay, awesome. This is a big one. Like if you guys are tight on financing, because what ends up happening is like the foundational thing you need to know is that if you pay your statement balance in full on your credit card, you don't get charged any interest. And so if you time it to absolute precision, what ends up happening is, in this case, this is what the billing cycle looks like for one of my credit cards I used as an example. Everything charged in between this time frame would be due on March 21st. And so what I ended up realizing was that if you did it on the first day of like the start of a new cycle, you're not going to see it until like way later. I think it ends up being 55 days. I should have prepared for this a little bit better to explain it. But basically, like you can float your capital that much longer and it gives you more breathing room because you don't want to have, for me, I'm like, I want to hold on to the money for as long as I can before I have to pay it back is the game I'm trying to play. And so if you don't know what you're doing, what ends up happening is it's due in 25 days at the earliest or 55 days at the latest.
With the Plum card, is it even longer then? Because you're getting 60 days from the rip. So then if you do it with the Plum, are you getting like 85 days?
That's my understanding. I don't have the card, so I can't test it. But I would think so. If the statement balance shows that way, then I would think so, yeah.
I gotta try it. and I will, let you know.
Yeah, heck yeah, man.
All right, bud.
I was doing the web script. Like you're talking about like scripts and stuff. Like, oh, this is where I spend the majority of my time. Like, this is what the scripting looks like. And this is like the web scrapings, which automates all the sourcing inflow and stuff. So like, that's kind of the real reason I got into the automation, because all the data's out there. You're just doing arbitrage at that point. And like you get all the data. I call it supply side sourcing. You take all of the supply, which is like a price sheet, you throw it against Amazon, see what's profitable, and see what comes back, and you source that. Keepa is more like demand side sourcing. You're starting at demand and you're trying to work your way back to supply. They both have their merits, but like the one with the demand is like you're showing up to the scene after the fact. Like the sale might already be over and the entry setup might not be there anymore. This thing's supposed to be going faster. This is supposed to be my
You
code
do
demo.
all of your web script through Python?
I do, yeah.
Oh, nice.
Let's see.
Hey,
This thing's
Tony,
fucked up.
Manny's asking about your web scraping, and,
Hmm.
and I do have your class listed in the notes, but if you want to talk about that while you're waiting for the results, feel free, please.
Oh man, yeah, sure. Let me move this because I have like an inappropriate Discord that I made because I'm trolling a bad person. Okay. Let's move that down. I have two things going on.
Be on your bad list because I'm sure the automated outreach is probably disgusting.
I'm just a goofball. He's goofing off. I have two things that are going on. Actually, my passion project right now is, I call it 5 pillars income. This is going to be pillar 1. I'm doing a Discord leads list. I actually need beta testers. I was talking to the Falcon about this earlier, but I basically have it scripted to run every website every night now. I think I have 20 sites total. I think 16 are supported currently. Like this is what it looks like. Everything's scheduled to run. I'm eventually going to like charge for this, but like for the next 10 days or so, I was thinking of having people come in for free and just like, hey, like this sucks, make it better. And then I could make it better.
This sucks is hilarious.
Yeah. But like just to show like a showcase of like yesterday's server stats, I think I processed 100,000 UPCs and output 6,000. And so there's just all raw like data dumps and stuff. Let's see, shop to yes.
Dude, that's awesome.
Nike. Kind of the problem though is that some people are gated, and that's why gated, like saying Nike. That's why I do all these different websites, so that the hope is you'll have access to something else. Like something's gonna work. I think there's 1,300 for the output in here, and then you're just like doing whatever you're gonna do. I farm cash back on stuff, so like I'll buy stuff to break even to farm cash back. Like I don't care. Like the travel, I can get anywhere from like 20 to 40% cash back equivalent on the redemption, and like that is a worthy trade-off for me. And so when you have this much data, then you get, you're in a privileged position in the sense that you can choose all the best setups. You can be picky in your capital deployment. And I always make the joke is you start from the top, like you can start with the highest profit and work your way down until you run out of money or you get bored. And believe it or not, I get bored all the time, even with this level of automation. And then the second thing I have, I do web scraping too as like a coaching course. The hope is to get that all pre-recorded. I have it kind of set up over here. I need to redo it. The Falcon went through it with me, but this one was going to be a lot better in terms of setup, so that like I love having context and then like a display. I think of it like college where you have theory and then the lab. And so I do both. Like I show like, hey, like this is what we're doing. This is what it looks like when you do it. But I switched over from ChatGPT to Claude, so I need to update everything to reflect that. But I have like all these modules that I support. But like the newest thing, man, the newest thing is nuts, and that's what I'm going to include. If you'll indulge me with nerding out, let's see, Nike. What I found out. This is the good one, man. This is the good one. Columns not. Oh my goodness. Did I do the wrong one? Let me do this one. What I found out, and I feel dumb because it took me like 7 years to learn this, 10 years, something like that. Did I roll this back? Oh my goodness. I'm not supposed to be doing this right here. Let me see. What ends up happening is you can have the scripts basically look at the Keepa data, I'm running them out of sequence. That's the problem. Let me get the most recent one, because I want to show you what it like actually looks like. Because it's kind of silly. Once you get to this point, you're just like, oh, the hardest part is just waiting for the thing to go through. Talk about stage right there. We go. I have this set up in a specific way to do the order output, and so the file is not outputting correctly. So let me do this. I'm just going to run phase 30. And so kind of what the takeaway is, I'm going to just show you the output then. What ends up happening is you can literally count, like, this is cutting edge. Like I just learned about this like last week. Let me do this first. I have it over here. Sorry, guys. I wasn't preparing to show this part off, so like I don't have everything like on the ready. I'm looking for a photo. Here we go. This is what I was trying to show you. So I'm just going to have to photo for now. But what ends up happening is, so keep us plotting this data, right? And I never stopped to think, one, where this data is coming from. So what ends up happening, or the discovery is, they have that data. You need the data, the raw data like this, to plot it. And so once you use their API, you're literally just grabbing the data points, and you're just like, okay, it started at 100 inventory. The next day it's at 90, so 10 units sold. And you just count them that way. And so then you get to the point where you can literally be like, oh, 13 units sold on this listing within a 30-day time frame, because you're counting the stair steps. And then so you can literally just automate like everything, like the lead flow, the velocity, and then you have all this data. And so now I have like all this data, and that's what I'm working on. It's like for personal, like this is my cutting edge stuff. And so now I can frame it as, of this listing, there's 271 sales, 269 of them were profitable. 2 of them were at a loss, an average loss of 29 cents. The worst one was at $1.61. And so for me, like, screw it, I'll buy that one. Like my upside's so stacked in my favor, I'll do that one. And so now I know I'm getting the profitability I want, the downsides what I want. I can see if the trend with the offer count is where I need it to be, either stable up or down. And you just go like nasty. Like you just get so much data. Like all this is just data at the end of the day. And that skill set I had to develop, because like when you start getting this much data, you're like, oh, what do I do with all the data? Because it's just too much. Oh God, it's silent.
Dude, this is so cool. I'm literally like, I'm just baffled. Like there's so much info, like my brain literally hurts, but it's like, dude, this is so cool. Like, yeah, this is awesome. I see why it's addicting. Because like, it's overwhelming, but then like, you're like, oh shit, like, you start, making the connection, and you're like, oh yeah. So yeah, I can see it, dude. This is cool.
Yeah, this thing's going. It's working.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Two things, Tony. So number one, is there anything else you want to cover? And then number two, for anybody else, if there's anything you want to ask Tony about, let's do it now. Just be respectful of his time and yours. And also, obviously, his contact information is in the sheet. He's a great dude. He will respond. Information about his course is in there, and all of the documents, all of the assets, all of that is inside of the notes. So I'm adding this last person, and everybody else has access already.
Oh yeah, if you guys want like access to the Discord, the leads list Discord, for free, like no strings attached. Once it becomes paid, like I'm gonna turn it off. But like until then, you guys are welcome to like roll through.
You want to drop the link? I'll put it in the sheet.
Yeah, like for me, like it's all automated. Before that used to be the choke point. Like, oh God, it was awful. But now, like, there's just so much abundance. That's kind of the other privileged position that I'm in. Since I see so much data, I think in the server sets, am I still displaying?
Yeah.
Yeah, and this isn't even counting everything. Like in the last 7 days, I processed 1.2 million UPCs. Like, I don't have enough money to deploy to capture anything. Even if I did, I'm gonna get bored. And so like, when you're just starting out, you think scarcity, like there isn't enough. Like the data's there. It's just how do you automate it? I think historically I've done, before I abandoned Scan Unlimited, I still have it. I don't even have it here anymore. I think I did like 50 million UPCs. Yeah, 58 million UPCs. You're just scraping. You just look at this angry and like, I don't want to work no more. And that's yeah. I got like 30 minutes. If you guys want to chop it up, I was just kind of showing off. I'm sorry.
Hell yeah, dude.
I'm not supposed to
Awesome.
show off.
Just want to give you a huge shout. And oh, I see Michael's hand up. I just want to give you a huge shout. Awesome. Fuck awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Michael.
Hey, Tony. Thanks for the class. Funny
Yeah, for sure.
enough, one of the biggest takeaways and one of my pain points is so low on your skill level, but you like for your replenishments, you just like put in the cost and then just put it onto a sheet. That is so quick for me because I was doing everything manually.
Oh, it's awful,
So-
isn't it? It's awful.
Yeah, like for me, that was a really, really cool. I know it's very simple, but for me,
Yeah.
like that's one I'm taking away right away.
Yeah.
So my question to you is, what would you say are the biggest like 1 or 2 or 3 automations that you're like, okay, if you're just like a low level seller, like you're doing between 0, 10, 20 in revenue, like what are the first 2 or 3 automations that you're like, hey, biggest bang for your buck, you could do this tomorrow?
Yeah. I should show. Let me turn off the Discord because I'm going to ping. I was supposed to talk about Distill. Let me turn on the presentation again because that's kind of a low. What is it called? Like low hanging fruit. Like that's an easy one. Let's go to Target. The way I like to frame it is Distill is a web monitoring service, and it's like kind of ghetto. But I'm going to show you an example. It's free. It runs locally, meaning it runs on your personal computer. Meaning if you turn off your computer, it turns off with it. You can pay to have it run on their server, so it never turns off. But what ends up happening is you basically like activate it and you say, hey, I want you to look at this spot exactly, like $100. And so what you end up doing is you tell it, hey, check this spot every, say, 30 minutes. And so the point of this is you save it, and it's going to periodically check every 30 minutes to see if that price changed. And so it's checking right now. And so the point is to either use that to catch a restock, a coupon triggering. Oh, I got my Lofi on because my headphones cut out. A price change or a coupon code or a restock. And so the way I like to frame that is that you're in like 2 places at once. You're watching it actively you're watching it passively without being active. So to speak, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so what ends up happening is when you're like starting out and your catalog, your inventory is real small, you set up like 20, 50 of them, like something's going to fire off eventually. This is especially useful for stuff that's like hot, because I think at its extreme for reselling, you don't want to be selling like any of this dinky stuff. Like you should chase all the hype items, like the Pokemon cards and stuff. Like those things are hard to stay in stock. And like you go into an arms race, like with these restock monitors and stuff. But this is really basic level 1. You can make your own with like the web scraping and stuff, but just to give you an idea of like its application. One of the other things I would suggest is just like forwarding the emails to your phone as a text message. I think I had that on here somewhere. Oh, I was going to talk about this. I'm ping-ponging. I'm sorry. I just switched over to Aura. Oh, God. Don't show things. That needs to make sure it loads correctly. Okay. So one of the things I found out about Aura was really interesting is that it can auto-assign strategies. I came from Be Cool. I've used SellerSnap and Informed. But the reason I liked Aura is because this customization that it lets you do. And I just wanted to show you because like no one told me this, and I wish someone would have told me. Okay. So this thing has a workflow. So like every hour it's trying to do this. What it's doing is it's checking age of inventory. And so if it's 0 to 30 days, it's assigning it like strategy 1. If it's between 31 and 60 days, it's assigning it strategy 2. And so like this is what it ends up doing. And so what I end up doing, because I hate repricing, and that's one of the problems with your catalog growing larger, is that you have to manage more ASINs to reprice. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, because you might potentially make more money with surface area and stuff, but it just increases your admin time. And like, it's awful. I don't want to live that way. And so Aura automatically assigns like the strategy and the aggression level. And for me, I want all my stuff to stock out by day 90. And so I have it like, okay, start at 25% as your baseline, and then like do whatever you need to do. And if nothing's sold by the next tier, then lower the ROI. And then the other thing I have to do is I check to see like if I'm sitting above the buy box, what it basically means is like I'm never going to be in the rotation. I have to manually adjust these things down. But for the most part, this captures everything. And the North Star, the hope of that is it's automated all of your repricing. Like you don't have to do anything. And like that was a big win for me. And that just got implemented like 3 or 4 months ago. Like they told me how to do it. I didn't come up with it.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hey, so for since we're on the topic of Aura here, like I know the most gruesome thing for me in Aura is inputting like buy costs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like do you have a way that you automated that?
I use Inventory Lab, and they have like a connection, a plugin that like talks to Inventory Lab and pulls the cost over automatically. And I
Okay.
think for the most part, like 95% of the time they do it,
Okay.
like without any issue, automatic. One of the other things it does too is really neat is that it checks like any new listing, it automatically assigns it a repricing profile. Like it checks every hour. It's like, oh, you're new, here you go, repricing setting. And then like the next step is like, oh, you're 0 to 30 age, here's the profile. It's really fascinating. Like I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah, I currently use Be Cool, but every big seller I know uses Aura, and I was like, okay, let me go and switch over, switch over to Aura, and then I didn't realize that I paid for the yearly. So,
Oh dear, yeah.
I'm in there, I'm locked in there. So yeah, but honestly, I can't complain. Be Cool has done well for me, but from everyone I know, they've recommended Aura highly. So
Aura's cool. A lot of that has to do for me, like I'm just some guy is how I see it. And it's like, I don't know what I don't know. So I go to these people like hat in hand. I'm like, please, sir, tell me what like to do. Because all I understand is like, I'll set it to the minimum. And like, I know maximum, like that's all I know. That's the extent of my repricing training. And so they told me how to do this. And I was like, oh my God, what like a great thing. But the problem with this cutoff of like the ROIs is that like, in a perfect world, like they would never dip below that ROI. But say with this top one, if I have the minimum set to 25, and the listing's selling at 10%, I'm going to forever stay out of the buy box and I'll never rotate in. And like, that's the one gripe I have about it, that it's not like reflexive enough to like adjust itself. At least with the automations, you have to go in manually and be like, hey, it's at 10% ROI. Like you can either sit it out and hope it recovers, but you have no promise or guarantee that it's going to get better. Or you can just like come in and be like, all right, I'm donezo, like hit the bricks, like time to get out of here. And I'm real aggressive with my inventory. Like I wanted to like just, like if it's dead, it's dead. Like just pull the Band-Aid off.
and like when you say like peel the Band-Aid off, like what do you do? Do you liquidate or?
Yeah,
or, like,
I liquidate it. Like I'll sell break even. I'll take a small haircut, like $4, like per thing. Because the other thing I'm factoring in is I didn't really talk about this, but I always have the cash back as my final backstop of like a loss. Because I try and only ever buy OA stuff when I have like 8% or higher cash back. Because on the travel side for the redemption, you can get, it's like almost 3x whatever the list rate is. So if it's 10% cash back, you're getting like 30% cash back on like a first class flight on the redemption. So I don't care if I lose like $4 because I know I'm going to get 30% on the travel redemption. And not only that, if you're fortunate enough to sell, say you have like 10 units, hopefully units 1 through 3 sold profitably. So like units 7 through 10 will sell at a loss and like they'll cancel each other out. It's kind of the thought process. If not, the cash back is going to overwhelm it and make up the difference. If it goes through that, you still have account profit like overall to absorb it. And I always like to think that like, and I was supposed to write this up. Dang, I didn't write it up. I'm trying to think what it's called. I call it like ABC inventory theory. Basically like your inventory is into 3 buckets. Like A is your best tier, B is your whatever tier you don't brag about, but you don't complain. And C is your like everything that didn't work how you expected it to work. And like, it's just a problem. And so the thinking is you want to cut all your like your C tier inventory and promote it, so to speak, and hopefully land again in A or B. And so it's just a matter of like constantly pruning the dead stuff. The best stuff takes care of itself. Like you're a genius. Like it'll just stock out. You don't have to do nothing. Your only regret is you bought too shallow. That's like, it's that middle part that's just kind of like whatever. Like it's going to do what it's going to do, but it's not like brag worthy.
All right, Santiago.
My
Hey,
man.
I got a million questions today. Sorry.
Tell me, man. I love it.
I definitely want to dive more into, because I know you kind of talked a little bit about it, but I definitely want to dive more into a credit card cycling, because Miles told me, he's like, oh, like you should be, doing that for sure. And, he explained it, but I don't know. It's a little complicated for me. I guess my brain's not big enough, I guess, but I just kind of want to see how you would explain it.
So
I have something on it, but my brain's like smush right now. I can't think of what it's listed under.
So Santiago, I'll give you we have a 1 hour plus video on it. So, we have to, you don't have to crunch it into like a half a second here and you'll have it. So just real quick. So if you have last questions, if you want to get anything in, if you need access to the guide, drop your email, not the guide, to the notes, drop your email. Also, there is a link to the group chat that is going to get you all the updates on both of my community calls and also the live stream when we start. That should be next week. In Santiago, that's why we're not on YouTube, because the community calls are just Google Meets. The live streams will be live streams.
Maybe I have it. Yeah, I have like, I've done it so many times. I just have to like, because usually what I try and do before every presentation, I try and like reteach myself so that I teach it like well when it comes up. Yeah. Yeah, I got you. Like, let's touch base after.
Definitely.
Look at Hawaii. This was a good cashback redemption. Oh my goodness. You guys got to travel. Like, we're so blessed that we can have that luxury to like travel with cashback. That's me. That's my girl. She's real.
She's real.
She's real.
It still could be AI, bro. I just see her moving and touching things.
It's true. I think
Santiago, that call is in the chat and it'll be in the notes too. But go ahead. Sorry, Tony.
Yeah, man, dude, life's crazy. Like, for me, I'm just all about like just screw around, do things you're not supposed to do, and like push it as far as you can push it.
Where's your next destination?
Oh my God, I booked 2 suites for 6 days in Hawaii for my family, and I think the cash value is like $18,000 in travel, nothing out of pocket. I just came back from Nova Scotia, and that was nuts.
Gotta eat some nice luau food.
Yes. My brother's never been there, so I'm just like, all right, you get like, what is it called? Like the intro tour, like super fast.
I'm going to Japan in 3 months, so I'm excited for that.
There you
Are
go.
you going in March?
No, April.
Oh, okay.
You're going in March?
Yeah, I'm going in March. I'm going.
Sick.
I'm going for like a Gundam tournament though. So
Okay. That's cool.
Wait, a what tournament?
Gundam.
What is that?
It's like a card game.
Yeah.
All these card games have ridiculous values. Like, if you're like a reseller, it's like, dear God.
He's gonna pwn noobs. I know it.
I love it. All right, listen. So we are at the end of the call. Tony, thank you for spending some extra time with us. If you know Tony will do this for the next 3 hours and love it.
I will. Don't make me leave.
So yeah, no. The live streams are for the 3.5 hour calls. So let's just save it for that. Those see the multiple like images that look very similar make it feel like AI, Tony. So like you got to show me different photos, man, and you got to show me videos. I don't believe it. I'm gonna meet her one day, then I'll.
Yeah.
And just the like kind of the inside joke there is Tony. We always like miss each other, or he has to leave early because of his girlfriend. And I'm like, who's this girlfriend? Does she really exist? That's the inside joke. But listen, thank you, Tony, for doing such an amazing job. Like I said, all access to everything that he's covered is in the notes. You have access to that. Also join a group chat so you will know about all of our calls. We are doing a ton of them and they're going to be just amazing, just like this. And the live stream is coming back probably next week. So if you get into that group chat, you will have access. Also, Santiago, his group chat has information too. So that's it. The replay will be in the notes probably in the next couple of hours or tomorrow. Just look for it if you need it. And we'll do it again tomorrow night with Walmart 101. Thanks a lot for everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Akino, check your phone.
Catch you later.
Appreciate it. Have a good one, guys. Thank you, Tony.
Appreciate it.